Okay, Marvel put themselves in a weird spot with this one. Hey, what's up, Nerd fam? This is your boy Gershon. I want to welcome you to Enter the Nerd. Today, we're going to be talking about the Eternals trailer that just came out not too long ago, a couple days ago, actually. So, what did we see in this trailer? What did it tell us? And what are the possible effects it could have on the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Let's get into it. Now, the first thing that I'll notice is that this trailer is very good looking. It doesn't look like a lot of the other Marvel movies, which some people might not like, but that could be a good thing because good aesthetics are good aesthetics, right? I'll give it that much. However, as far as characters and story, obviously we don't know the full story yet because the movie hasn't come out, so I'm not gonna try and say everything I know about the story. However, what they have said already, like the characters, the narration is they've been around for a long time and they haven't interfered, which is blatantly not true because they are interfering and showing them water and showing them how to build these things. Like, apparently people needed their help to build these empires, which goes in line with a lot of the lore because the Eternals. Well, first off, I mean, I'm gonna go back and forth between what the trailer showed us and what I know about the characters. That way, I'll kind of give you some insight as to what I'm thinking. Now, in this trailer, they show them interfering and talk about how they weren't, they haven't interfered until now, which is weird because obviously at the end of this trailer, it shows them talking about Captain America or Steve Rogers and Tony Stark not being here anymore and who's gonna lead the Avengers, which means they were here the entire time and could have helped. And now there's some other threat bigger than Thanos wiping out half of the universe, which made them want to now come out and help. They're going to have to really explain that, which I think is the weird spot that they've put this movie in. They've just done it from the trailer, by the way, right? Now, as far as characters are concerned, if you don't know, these Eternals that you see, these characters are the third generation of Eternals. Icarus and Ajax, they're the third generation. There are three generations. They have descendants who actually went to war with each other, two brothers that went to war. I believe it was Kronos and Uranus. They had to, don't laugh, you're immature. Now, they both went to war to see if they were going to pretty much conquer the universe or stay on their own planet. One side won, and then the next generation, which had Mentor or Alars, which is actually Thanos' father, that was the second generation of Eternals as well. And obviously, the third generation would be who we're seeing right now. Now, the Eternals were actually created by the Celestials, because Celestials actually planted the seeds pretty much to life in the universe. So obviously, the Earth not being an exception. So they took pretty much the building blocks of what makes humans humans, and then sprinkled some immortality on it, and you have the humanoid looking Eternals, which, by the way, they're supposed to be like beautiful looking. That's their thing. It's supposed to be almost perfect. But then they have their deviant cousins who are, have similar immortality and, strength and different types of abilities, but they just don't, they're not aesthetically pleasing, and they have like physical mutations. Thanos actually has the deviant gene of the Eternals' cousin race, right? And pretty much these guys are connected to Thanos in that way in terms of the lore. I'm just not sure if they're going to go that way in here, which they should, because it would give them a gigantic connection to a major character that was already in this universe, and even make Thanos, his lore, even deeper and his connection to everything better. Then obviously you can explain the Celestials and stuff like that, because the Deviants are also very religious. They believe that one of the Celestials actually gave them the right to rule over the universe, and they constantly fight with their cousins over that belief system because they believe the other Celestials turned their back on their god. It's a lot of crazy stuff going on with there, but they have quite a bit of story behind them which no one knows, but they can actually make this pretty interesting, especially if they go into there. So there's some things that I saw here character wise which don't really add up. Like they were showing Cersei with Icarus and stuff like that, and I know she's with Dane Whitman or Black Knight. I know she's been with him in the comics, and Makari, who's actually a girl now in this iteration. She's not a guy, so she was really in a relationship with both of them, which I could see them doing that. Her being in a relationship with Makari, the lady, and also later on Black Knight. I could see them doing that. Also, like I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but all of these characters, these Eternals, also like stood in as gods in different things, like Greek gods, Norse gods, and Egyptian gods. They all stood in for them, and people worshiped them. Which is why it's funny when they say we didn't interfere. It's like, no, the basis of your character is you are interfering for a long time. I mean, they even fought Apocalypse at some point. They were like surprised to see Apocalypse alive again, like later on. So there's a ton of stuff they're connected to within the Marvel Universe. So it'll be really hard to explain why they weren't here this entire time, which is going to be a big task for a lot of Marvel's upcoming characters, which is why I think they should really, even though a lot of people are going to might probably roll their eyes at this, they should make a lot of things kind of happen in real time. But characters like this, these like 20,000, 30,000 year old characters, are going to be really hard to explain why they weren't involved in a whole bunch of other things. You're going to have to be really, really good with that. And I'm not sure if they're going to, because sometimes they just skip over details and they make it seem like us, the audience, just didn't watch or don't pay attention to what they say. And that sucks in that too. Ajax, who's also gender swapped, is actually a twin, right? So we want to see that. Tons of cool stuff. Icarus, the one that Rob Stark plays, actually his real name is Daedalus, but his son's name was Icarus and actually was the god Icarus. And then when he died, he took his son's name in his honor. Like, it's tons of cool stuff. And it's actually a 4th and 5th generation afterwards too, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, I don't want to give too, because they could be using some of this stuff, but I feel like it's just gonna be very loosely based, right? I'm just wanted to give you a little bit of those tidbits to see where I'm coming from. The costumes actually aren't that good either. And funny enough, I was talking to my boy Taylor about it. When I first saw the trailer, I just saw that flash and I saw them from a distance. And I was like, they don't look too bad. And he was saying he's a very big stickler on like costumes and stuff like that. You know, he's like, no, it's whack. And I was like, maybe. But then I saw like a still, and I finally like zoomed in, and I was like, yeah, these costumes leave a lot to be desired. And it's one of those things where the original costumes were actually much better. They actually were better. It's not like they couldn't. It's not that they couldn't reproduce those. Like, the costumes were actually really, really cool with Thena and stuff like that. Also, not all the, like, Eternals weren't initially like immortal like they are now. Like, it's a lot of stuff. There's a whole bunch of things I can go on with them, but they tie into X-Men. They tie into a lot of the cosmic universe stuff. So there could be some good stuff coming out of this. I'm not sure how they've already positioned the Eternals that they're going to be able to really fulfill all of those things here. Now, I would like to be surprised, but I don't know, based off of that narrative in the trailer or the narration, that already puts them on shaky ground. It does, right? But yeah. So honestly, I think that's really about it. That's really all I gotta say about that. The trailer, like I said, was good looking. I know the lore. This is playing around kind of funny with it, but that happens quite a bit with a lot of these things. They play hard and fast with that, but I hope they use this. They probably might even use this as a way to bring in the X-Men. I wouldn't be surprised if they use them as a planting the seeds for like the X gene, which is also the Celestials, of course, too. But yeah, that's really it. So let me know what you think down there. Are you really excited about this movie? Did you know anything about the Celestials before seeing this trailer or not? If so, let us know in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe if you love this video. If you don't like it, let me know. All of that good stuff. And please do not forget to enter the nerd.